My name is Huey, and I'm a time traveler. In the year 2023, something unimaginable happened. Aliens arrived on Earth, and they didn't come in peace. Rain lashed against my face, mingling with the cold sweat that had formed on my brow. The night had taken on an eerie, electric quality as the storm raged around me. I watched with a mixture of awe and terror as the sky seemed to tear open, revealing the monstrous alien ships. They hung in the air, colossal and otherworldly, like massive, twisted spires that defied the laws of physics. As the ships descended, a deafening roar filled the air, drowning out the panicked cries of the people around me. I stood frozen, unable to tear my gaze away from the colossal invaders. The city's lights flickered and dimmed, casting eerie, shifting shadows on the trembling streets. A bolt of lightning illuminated the scene, briefly revealing the aliens' grotesque forms. They were not the benevolent, humanoid creatures we had often imagined in our science fiction stories. These beings were nightmarish, with elongated, contorted bodies and rows of razor-sharp, gleaming teeth. Their eyes glowed with an unholy fire, and their skin seemed to ripple and shift like living shadows. Chaos reigned as people scattered in every direction, their faces etched with sheer terror. Car horns blared and sirens wailed, creating a cacophony of fear. I stumbled backward, my heart racing, as I realized that this was no friendly visitation from another world. This was a nightmare come to life. In the distance, I heard the ominous hum of the alien ship's engines as they settled into position, casting a sickly, greenish glow over the city. The rain continued to pour, mixing with the terrified tears of those who had witnessed the arrival. It was a night that marked the beginning of the end, a night that would haunt my dreams for eternity. Deep beneath the surface of the earth, hidden from the prying eyes of the world, our clandestine group of rebels gathered in a dimly lit chamber. The walls were adorned with holographic screens displaying classified government documents, each revealing the extent of the conspiracy we had uncovered. Dr. Eleanor Thornton, the brilliant scientist responsible for the temporal nexus, stood at the center of the room, her expression grave. She had risked everything to expose the truth about the aliens and their demonic nature. Her voice trembled as she began to speak. These beings, these aliens, they are not what they appear to be, Dr. Thornton said, her words carrying the weight of revelation. They are ancient entities, demons that have manipulated human history from the shadows for eons. I glanced around at my fellow rebels, their faces a mix of shock and disbelief. It was a revelation that defied everything we had been taught about extraterrestrial life. Dr. Thornton continued, "The governments of the world have known about them for centuries. They struck dark bargains with these demons, seeking power and control in exchange for allowing them to influence our world. It was all part of a grand plan to plunge humanity into darkness." As she spoke, holographic images of world leaders meeting with the alien entities filled the room. We watched in horror as high-ranking officials shook hands with the grotesque beings, their eyes devoid of humanity, their voices filled with a sinister resonance. One image froze on the screen, capturing a moment of chilling significance. It was a video recording of a secret meeting, where a world leader whispered promises of chaos and despair in exchange for untold power. The demons nodded in agreement, their malevolent grins sending shivers down my spine. They control the minds of our leaders, Dr. Thornton continued, her voice quivering with anger and desperation. They manipulate our governments, stoking conflicts and sowing discord. It's all part of their plan to feed off our fear and suffering. The room fell into a somber silence as the weight of the truth settled upon us. We were no longer dealing with a mere extraterrestrial invasion. We were facing an ancient evil that had infiltrated the highest echelons of power. Our rebellion had taken on new meaning. We were not only fighting to expose the demon's true nature to the world, but also to free humanity from their insidious control. The road ahead was treacherous, and the stakes were higher than we could have ever imagined. As we left the underground chamber that day, the burden of knowledge weighed heavily on our shoulders. The governments had kept their sinister alliance with the demons a secret. But now, it was a secret that could no longer be contained. We were determined to unveil the truth, even if it meant facing the full wrath of these demonic beings. My journey through time continued, but now with a newfound purpose: to unravel the demon's dark influence on history. I traveled to ancient civilizations, each time period unveiling a piece of the sinister puzzle. In Egypt, I witnessed the demons whispering dark secrets into the ears of pharaohs, encouraging them to build grand tombs and orchestrate rituals that would enslave their subjects in the afterlife. In Rome, I saw how the demons stoked the fires of rebellion, manipulating emperors to make choices that ultimately led to the fall of the mighty empire. The demons were puppet masters, pulling the strings of empires and kingdoms, always hidden from the prying eyes of historians. But it wasn't just ancient history that revealed their malevolence. In the midst of World War II, I witnessed the demons subtly manipulating world leaders, prolonging the conflict and causing untold suffering. They thrived on chaos and despair, and their influence had left scars on the collective human psyche. It became clear that the demons had been present throughout history, orchestrating events and shaping the course of civilization. Each revelation filled me with a mixture of dread and determination, as I knew that exposing their true nature was humanity's only hope. As the days passed, my fellow rebels and I continued our relentless pursuit of the truth behind the alien invasion. From hidden vantage points, we observed the insidious ways in which the demons executed their plan. They had infiltrated the highest levels of government, using their mind-controlling abilities to turn diplomats and leaders into their willing servants. One chilling evening, I watched through binoculars as a world leader whose face had a vacant, puppet-like quality delivered a speech that called for global chaos and division. The audience erupted in frenzied applause, oblivious to the puppeteer pulling the strings from the shadows. It was a chilling sight, and I couldn't shake the feeling that we were battling an enemy whose power was beyond comprehension. The demons reveled in the chaos they sowed, watching from their hovering ships with malevolent satisfaction. Their mastery over human psychology allowed them to exploit our darkest desires and fears, driving nations to the brink of self-destruction. It was as if they had studied humanity for centuries, understanding our weaknesses and exploiting them with ruthless precision. Our resistance, while valiant, seemed like a flickering candle in the face of an encroaching storm. Yet, we knew we had to press on, for the survival of humanity depended on our ability to expose the demons and break their stranglehold on our world. Our rebel group, united by the grim knowledge of the demon's true nature, became a beacon of hope in a world teetering on the edge of despair. We operated from hidden safe houses, our every move shrouded in secrecy. Each member brought unique skills to the table, from hacking into classified government databases to uncovering damning evidence of the demon's influence, to combat training for the inevitable confrontations with their manipulated enforcers. We launched daring raids on government facilities, risking everything to gather more proof of the demonic invasion. It was during one of these high-stakes operations that we barely escaped with our lives, clutching stolen documents that revealed the aliens' plan in horrifying detail. The demon's grand design was to plunge the world into darkness, to turn humanity against itself, and to feed off the fear and suffering that would ensue. Our resistance was fueled by a desperate determination to expose this truth to the world. But the demons were powerful adversaries. Their control over the world's leaders, seemingly unbreakable. Despite the odds, we knew that we could not falter. The fate of humanity rested on our shoulders. Our battles with the demonic forces were brutal and relentless, each confrontation a harrowing testament to the demon's cruel manipulation of human minds. I remember one particularly grim night when our safe house came under attack. Friends turned against friends, their minds twisted by the alien influence. It was heart-wrenching to see people we had fought alongside for so long now, serving the very entities we aimed to defeat. We fought not only to protect our lives, but also to free those who had fallen under the demon's control. The streets had become a war zone, with buildings reduced to rubble and the air thick with the acrid stench of destruction. Monstrous abominations, born of the demon's dark magic, roamed the city. These grotesque creatures were once ordinary humans, their bodies grotesquely transformed by the malevolent forces that now ruled our world. In the midst of the chaos, we witnessed the demons' sadistic creativity as they unleashed their horrors upon us. As we retreated through the shattered remnants of what was once our world, I couldn't help but feel the weight of despair pressing down on me. The rebellion, once filled with hope and defiance, was now a desperate and dwindling band of survivors. The demon's power was far greater than we had anticipated, and it seemed that every step forward was met with 2 steps back. Yet, despite the bleakness of our situation, we continued to fight, fueled by the belief that exposing the demon's true nature to the world was our only chance, no matter how slim, to turn the tide of this relentless and nightmarish war. The world had descended into a bleak and nightmarish landscape. The once blue sky was now a permanent twilight, choked by ominous, swirling clouds that concealed the demonic mothership hanging ominously above. Its presence was an ever-present reminder of our powerlessness. The earth itself had suffered, scorched and barren, with rivers running black and lifeless. The cities lay in ruins, and the streets were filled with the echoes of the battles that had raged for so long. In this desolate wasteland, I stood shoulder to shoulder with the few remaining rebels, our faces etched with weariness and determination. We gazed up at the towering monstrosity that was the mothership, its twisted spires reaching for the heavens. It was a grim reminder of the demon's unassailable dominance. As we prepared for the final battle, a sense of hopelessness settled over us like a shroud. The demons had won. Humanity was on the brink of extinction, and there was no escape from their grasp. Our rebellion had become a desperate, futile gesture in the face of overwhelming darkness, and it was with heavy hearts that we prepared to make our last stand against the relentless forces that had brought our world to the edge of oblivion. As I faced the hordes of demonic minions, their twisted forms a grotesque testament to the malevolence of their creators, I knew that this was humanity's final battle. The once indomitable spirit of the rebellion had been eroded by the relentless onslaught of the demons. The streets ran red with the blood of those who had once been our friends and allies, their minds twisted beyond recognition. It was a nightmarish tableau of betrayal and despair. With my fellow rebels at my side, we fought valiantly, but it was clear that our efforts were in vain. The demons' power was overwhelming, their dark magic rendering our weapons and tactics ineffective. As I clashed with a monstrous creation that had once been a trusted comrade, I couldn't help but reflect on the journey that had brought me to this grim moment. The governments of the world had known the truth about the demons, but their secrets and deals had sealed humanity's doom. As my vision dimmed and the world around me descended into chaos, I could only hope that somewhere, in some other time or reality, there existed a world where humanity had prevailed and the demons had been defeated. But for me, there was only darkness, and as I took my last breath, it was clear that the demons had achieved their ultimate goal, the end of humanity, the end of hope, and the end of everything.